Well, I think this might be the latest into a pre-season that I've ever started the transfer special before. Blame the FA Cup nonsense from earlier in the week, but the transfer special, what's left of it, we've already signed Ben Young, the transfer special starts now. Hello and welcome to part 189 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special. A season review for what, arguably, is it even arguable, in fact, the greatest season in the history of Home Football Club. I know we only made it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but winning a league and cup double, albeit the cup coming very, very late, mid-June for an FA Cup final. It's insane. These players are not going to get much of a holiday. But I think that's the best season that we've ever had. As mentioned earlier, if you didn't make it all the way through to the end of the last episode, you might not have seen that we have already started signing a couple of players. We're going young or English this summer, and I'm going to try and stick to it. Players need to either be under 18 or English, or preferably both, like Kyle Swan, who is 17 years old in English. But we're looking to really... Now I'm not England manager anymore, which... you should probably go and watch yesterday's video to find out why I'm not England manager anymore. But now I'm not England manager anymore. I need to keep my my English reputation going by bringing in some more English players, which is why Ben Young has arrived. But let's get on with the season review. It has appeared immediately after the FA Cup final. Obviously, it would normally be much earlier than this, but it had to wait and see how the season actually turned out. So we have the overall best 11. So Candemill has made it into the best 11 at left back, and James Powell, the best goalkeeper in the world, has made it into the best 11, all-time best 11 in goal as well. And I mentioned this in the England video yesterday, but I thought I'd forget for this video, but just to confirm, in addition to winning best goalkeeper at the World Cup and goalkeeper of the year, he also got into the Champions League Dream Team. It was only him and Goff from home who made it into the Champions League Dream Team, and he was named Champions League goalkeeper of the season. James Powell, I know I go on about it in a kind of semi-sarcastic way. James Powell genuinely is the best goalkeeper in the world. The fact that he's a 3.5-star player is just indicative of the quality of goalkeepers around in 2039. But currently, James Powell is the best goalkeeper in the world and the best goalkeeper in the history of Home. Back four of Candemill. Sands, what's Sands up to now? I forgot all about Cesar Sands. 28 years old now, still playing for Paris Saint-Germain. Not playing particularly regularly, but, you know, I imagine he's having more fun sat on their bench than he was sitting on our bench in his last season with us. So Sands still in our all-time best 11, alongside Lee, quite rightly, and Riviere at right back. Riviere still playing for Marseille, who we sold him to. He wouldn't get anywhere near our team now, bless his cotton socks. A midfield of Harrison, Moss and Kano. Let's check in with all of these. So Harrison never did make his England debut, playing for Udinese now. He's been doing the Italian tour since leaving us. Went to Perugia for big money, spent a lot of time at Spal, now on loan at Udinese from Spal. Nick Moss also never made his... Oh, he's a free agent now, 33 years old. I know I always say they always come home, but Nick Moss was only actually a regular starter as a home player for a year and a half. I know he was here on loan a long time. I don't think we need to be bringing Nick Moss home. Hamilton is where he made his home, so he can go back there after he retires. And then Kano in midfield for us. Kano now playing for Newcastle. So left us to go to Fulham. Similar to a Kamo, left us for big money to play in the Championship. Scored an absolute ton of goals down in the Championship for Fulham for a couple of years. As you'd expect, he was Premier League top goal scorer just a few years before. And he's now, this summer, gone to Newcastle for £16 million. So we'll hopefully start seeing Kano scoring some goals in the Premier League again. Manu is the attacking midfielder, still at Real Madrid. Only went there last summer. Still hasn't made his Spain debut, but has played more games for Real Madrid in the last year than he'd played for us in a season ever. No, that 1 year is the only time he played more games for us than he's played for Real Madrid in the last year. Scored more goals, got more assists. Still can't get above a 7 on his average rating, so still very inconsistent. But when he plays well, he plays very well. And seems to have settled in nicely to Real Madrid. And then a front two of Sir Anthony Harris. We know all about him. He's still an under-18s coach for us. And Chadney Matondo, who is playing for Genoa. And another one who's doing the tour of Italy. I mean, he hasn't got into double figures for goals since leaving us. In fact, the only club he ever got double figure goals for was us. And he did it apart from every year he played for us consistently. I mean, we won't count that year, but even in the Premier League, he got into double figures for us. But clearly, he was just playing above himself and never really got up to that level again. Playing in the second tier in Italy and not scoring goals there either. Scored 2 goals in the last 2 years in the second tier in Italy. Where did it all go wrong for Chardonnay Matondo, now aged 31? And the bench is Toby Humphries, Archie Proctor, Lerick Fernandez, who is back as a coach. He's another under-18 coach with us. Connor Stanley, who I think is retired. Simic Powell, retired. Oliver Gregson, who is now a head of youth development. Is he someone we should be bringing back? He was with us a long, long time. Probably not. And Akamo sitting on the bench for us as well, who is still at Brighton. I don't know that they were expecting 16 goals when they spent £50 million on him, but 16 goals is what they got because he's a Camo and that's what he does. So we've just gone through where the all-time best 11 are. We do it as we go through. The end of season awards. Player of the year, Alan Beron. Couldn't go to a nicer chap. Goff runner-up, Mira third place. Goal of the season goes to Hervé, who has done a bit of a Mick Powell as this season has gone on. Came in, I mean, I think I even said this time last year we were bringing him in to be our 4th choice defender because he was cheap. And he is probably going to be our starting centre-back alongside Lee for next season because he's done a Mick Powell and he can hit a free kick as well. But just having a little look at Hervé, now a 4-star current ability defender, officially second best defender at the club behind Lee. He was behind Juranovic when he came in last year, but Hervé has had an impressive run in the second half of the season. You can see he barely played in the first half of the season because he was 4th choice defender, but then forced his way into the team as the season went on. Signing of the season is Beron. I probably would give that to Hervé because Hervé only cost us 20 million, Beron cost us 80 million, and Hervé also getting Young Player of the Year. So team of the season, Powell in goal, a back four of Candemil, Hervé, Beron and Meyer. The fact Lee's not in there is more indicative of the fact that he was away on international duty for 6 weeks and then picked up a knock when he got back, so he hasn't played as many games this year. I still absolutely consider him my best defender. Yamin and Cristiano in midfield, then Sorelio, Costa and Goff behind Mira up front. So no room in the team of the year for Thor in his first season in English football. Top goal scorer shared between Mira and Thor, both of them on 21 goals. Mira got to 21 goals from 35 starts and Thor got to 21 goals from 25 starts. Goodness me. We need to be starting Thor in a few more games, I think. That can be a job for next season, he says, having just brought in another striker who theoretically better than Thor, or almost as good as Thor, in the shape of Ben Young. Hervé, highest average rating. See, he did a Mick Powell. Goff, most assists, as you'd expect for £113 million on a winger. Yamin, best pass completion. I've talked a lot in recent episodes about how much Yamin improved as that season went on. This was Yamin's breakout year, aged 28. He'd been with us a little while, never been anything spectacular, had his season where he was injured. I don't think that average rating is fair. According to that, he's had his worst season ever. I thought he was an awesome part of the team last year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do need a central midfielder. Who knows? Most man of the match goes to Mira. Most yellow cards, Meyer in the naughty boys club down there with Costa, Beron and Diarra, who all got sent off. So season review, won the Premier League and the FA Cup, which is excellent stuff. The disappointment, of course, being the Champions League, but that's not even mentioned on that screen, which seems odd. I'm not going to argue. The team of 2030, where are they now? So who's the team of 2030? This is the team that won promotion from the Championship. So we've been in the Premier League for 9 years now. Is that right? That can't be right. My word, we've been in the... It might be time to start doing that final run of shirts. That was the last time we sold shirts, was 9 seasons ago. Nearly half a save ago was the last time we sold any shirts. Let me know down in the comments if you want the sale. We've got one more run on the shirts. I promised them when we won the Champions League. We might need to do them now, or else FM20 will be out and no one will want one. So, in the team of 2030, we had Paul Perry in the third. We saw Paul Perry quite recently in an England episode. 4 members are now retired. Lerick Fernandez is the only player still at the club. That's not strictly true, because surely Sir Anthony Harris, he was certainly in that squad, obviously didn't make it into the team of the year, I guess. Oh no, there he is. It is mentioned. Oh, Sir Anthony Harris is a coach for England and Holme. Weird. In fact, we need to make sure Shane Phillips hasn't been sacked on England now. I'm not England manager anymore. We might have to bring Shane Phillips home again. Montabell's at Fiorentina. Ollie Steer, we've met recently in an England episode as well. We've already checked in on Harrison. Rogers, still playing in America. I mean, he's American now, basically, isn't he? Has he taken American nationality? No. You'd think he probably would. Sees no benefit. I mean, millions of people would probably see there was a benefit in getting a US nationality. Maybe not millions, but there seems to be plenty. Let's not get political. Rogers is annoying everybody who's trying to get into America. Paul Perry still playing in Ireland as well. Then we've got the turd. Karl Marsh is playing in Australia. So his career probably didn't turn out the way he planned. In fact, he's been there a long time. Is he Australian yet? He is. He's decided to become Australian. Well, there you go. So he saw the benefit. And Kylan Monco, I don't even remember him. Who on earth was he? Played 10 games for us that year and got in the team of the year. And the retired lot, Gregson, McLeish, Wearmouth finally retired, Mars Bradley, Bowery, Teesdale and Ross McCrory. I forgot we signed Ross McCrory in this save as well. That's mad. So, dynamics-wise, our team leaders are Lee, Candermill and Powell. That seems about right. End of season team meeting. We want to win the Premier League again, obviously, because we've done it 2 years in a row. We want to dominate English football now, as well as going on to win the Champions League. Pre-season start date. So they're getting like 10 days off. They're not even going to be able to have a 2-week package holiday, these poor old players. So they're back then. They're going to be shattered when they come back. And Reading want to take Christopher Hughes Mason on loan for the year. I mean, that's actually probably not a bad idea because he's already classed as trained at us because he came through our youth system. So first team football will do him the world of good next season. Right, let's go and buy some players. We've still got £42 million left. Like I say, we are aiming for young or English or both this summer. That's the theme of this summer. So if we have a look at our scouted players, these are the English ones. I would love to bring in Stuart Thompson, but firstly, there's probably no point because we've already got Mira, Thor, and now Young. Although Thompson is as good as Mira, and he's only 24. And Manchester United want him, so part of me thinks if Man United put in a bid, we might have to become one of those clubs who sign Stuart Thompson just to stop him going to Manchester United, because he will do. Imagine Wilson and Thompson up front for Manchester United. That will ruin us. They're the two best English players now, apparently. For those of you criticising me for dropping Kevin Williamson, this is sorted by current ability. Wilson, Thompson, and the other Thompson, all better than Kevin Williamson now. So, told you so. A lot of these are old. There's no point bringing in a 31-year-old for 80 million. Edmonds is available. If we see, that's tempting, but not for 105 million pounds. There doesn't seem to be any bargains really in English players. I think we got the one with Ben Young. Everyone else is up over 100 million pounds or not good enough to play for us. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I think Young is probably going to be the one unless Man United get a fee agreed for Thompson, in which case we'll step in and compete with them for that. So the other thing we need to look at is youngsters. So youngster-wise, if we sort it by ability, in fact, let's do this by, we don't really need current ability in youngsters. We need players who are going to be good. You can see we use this screen quite a lot because we've already got Arsene Diaby joining us next summer. We've got Ignacio Calvillo joining us next summer. Stefan Diamandi joining us in 3 years' time. He's only 15 and we've already got him joining us as soon as he turns 18. And we've got Antonio Salis joining us in 2 years' time. So we've hoovered up the 4 best young talents in world football, certainly as far as our scouts are aware. And then they get a little bit worse after that, and it kind of feels like, what's the point? This guy, for example, £14.75 million. Do we really want to spend £15 million on a player who's not going to be good enough to get in our team yet? I guess, logically, we scout him. And let's see what he's like when we get to 100% scout him. Scout a bunch of them. But I don't know that we're going to do much more business. People keep saying, Kev, save your money for the new stadium. Firstly, we'll get a loan when the new stadium happens. Don't worry about that. We can't. I've been doing research on it. You can't ask for a new stadium until 20 years after the previous one was built, and even then, the board take 5 years to make it happen. So I think we got the Serenik Nuhu Stadium in 2022. So on that basis, the earliest we'll actually move into a new stadium is 2047. So another 8 years yet. We ain't going to see us moving into a new stadium. So I think we need to not worry about that too much. But it would be nice to get the overall balance up in the positives again. The projection, it's not looking too healthy, but the board keep throwing money at us. They're never going to let us go out of business. But I guess there is an argument for let's not spend this money unless we really need to. I think we probably need to save that and call that Stuart Thompson money. If we need to bring him in, we'll bring him in. And the only way we'll need to bring him in is to stop him going to Manchester United, who are now our biggest rivals. And it seems like such a crazy reason to sign such an expensive player. But needs must. We can't let him go there because that would be a disaster. Right, we've moved forward to the 7th of July. Few bits have been happening. Bit number one, Clement Mercier has left the club. We got a £38 million offer from Southampton for Clement Mercier. He's in the last year of his contract. He'd been relegated to being 4th choice striker at the club with the arrival of Ben Young. And it just £38 million for a player we spent £10 million on. Loaned him out for a couple of years. He got his opportunity as part of the first team squad last year. Didn't really take it. And for £38 million for a guy who wasn't going to play at all this season, probably wasn't even going to make it into our Premier League squad. It just seemed like a bit of a no-brainer. Although, to be fair, I've just noticed Nice have taken a big chunk of that, which is less fun. We've got a new scout coming in as well. There are other bits going on, but I don't want to show you them just yet, just in case they don't come off. I might be signing a goalkeeper better than the best goalkeeper in the world, but we need £56 million to be able to do it. I thought selling Mercier would get us there. It hadn't occurred to me that there was a 50% sell on. So we still need to find another £10 million from somewhere. Bear with me. Right, we've raised a little bit more money. Graham Marshall has moved to Atalanta for £15 million. I feel like a monster here. Bring him in a free transfer. Don't play him. Sell him for £15 million. They have just been absolutely mugged. That leaves us with £51 million. I don't think it's going to be enough. With signing on fees, we need £63 million for the goalkeeper we want. I'll introduce him to you now because I don't think we're going to get him. eBay Bekart from Benfica. 49 caps for Belgium. Mates with Thor. But he's going to cost us £56 million up front for his release clause. We offered 80 million on the Never Never. They weren't having any of it. It's release clause or nothing. He's only going to be earning around that kind of region. But with signing on fees, it just... In fact, he came through the same youth system as... Oh, not youth system, but... Thor played for Club Brugge for a little while. Club Brugge, that's a terrible piece of business. Bring him in for 35 million, sell him for 17. Silly gooses. I don't think we're going to get him unless anyone can think of a way to generate another. I mean, it's not even let's generate another 15 million quid. We actually have to generate another like 45, 50 million because we're only getting 35% of transfer revenue. We can't up that. I've tried. It's fair enough. We haven't got any money. I've made a rod for my own back, but looking through the squad, I don't think there's anyone else we could let go as much as this goalkeeper would be a difference maker for us. We've got our 3 strikers now. With our, I guess, Blish would be the backup, but they're the 3 we're going for. With Young really being a backup player in all these positions as well. Cerelio and Diarra on the left wing, Goff and Flager. I guess Flager could go. Now we've got Young as a backup, but I don't really want to lose Flager. Costa, Drame and Mendes. It's not time to move on Robert Costa another year, and absolutely we sell him and go with Drame and Mendes, but one of them needs to break out and become a 4-star player before we do that. Hopefully that will happen this year, but they've got a combined age of less than 40. It's not time to go with those 2 as our attacking midfielders just yet. Zupancic, Cristiano, Yamin. There's an argument we could let one of those three go because we've got Bogarski, who we've known for a couple of years. Sloma is the other guy who I've not really mentioned because he's been doing his bits and pieces away from the club in France and Italy and with Burnley in the Premier League last year. But he's as good as Bogarski or better than Bogarski. Both of them almost as good as Yamin. Yamin's 28, Cristiano's 29. There's an argument we could sell Yamin and really go with Sloma and Bogarski and let them get game time. But I've spent so long talking about how good Yamin has been. But he does raise the money we need in one go. Maybe we let Yamin go. Left back, we've got Kandemil and Aleph. If we had another youngster coming through, you could say let's move Kandemil on and go with Aleph. But we don't really. So that's a bad move. Mayer at right back with Goff really as our backup, which is another argument for not letting Flager go. And then Lee, Beron, Hervé, Juranovic at centre back. It's again similar situation to what we've got here with Costa. Maybe in a year or two, Beron or Lee move on because they're 27, 25. I'm letting people go before their prime now because we've got so many good youngsters, but it's not the time now. And obviously, we've already let Saidi go this summer. I think that goalkeeper is so good. We'll put the feelers out for Yamin. He's earning a lot of money as well. If we can get £50 million plus for Yamin and get his £200,000 a week wage off the budget, and then go with Zupancic, Cristiano, Bogarski, Sloma as our midfield four for next season, it is really banking on Bogarski and Sloma ending up being any good. But if they're not, we just buy a midfielder next summer, I guess. I think upgrading the goalkeeper is probably more important than having extra. What's the point of buying the youngsters if we don't give them game time? There we go. Yamin has gone to Roma for £46 million. We have made a slight loss on him, but he was earning so much money, £215,000 a week, for a player who wasn't going to be a guaranteed starter, especially with the youngsters coming through. I need to negotiate my transfers better. We've given him more than we've had added to our own transfer budget. That is mad, but that does mean we've now got £63 million plus space in our transfer budget, so we should be able to ask for confirmation, yes, and we can sign him. We have our goalkeeper. Let's hope he's as good as the scouts tell me he is when he arrives. But we finally have our 4-star plus goalkeeper. And he's a natural at playing as a sweeper keeper as well, which fits into our system. So let's welcome him to the club. Thor's buddy is in goal, which we'll have to change his name to, because I don't even know how to say that. Beckart. Doesn't speak any English. That's easily solvable. Pal's welcoming him to the club. That's going to be an awkward conversation between the two of them. Give him a squad number. Get him registered in the squad as well, which... look at this. We've actually got plenty of homegrown players now. This is good. We're actually turning into a proper squad. So confirm that. But this is Ibe Beckart, our world-class goalkeeper. 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. He is better than Powell. There we go. We have our goalkeeper, which I think that's probably going to be us done for transfers this summer. We've sold £121 million of a player, Saidi. The main ones are Saidi, Mercier, Marshall and Yamin. And we've brought in £124 million, so almost a break-even summer. Main players really was Young and Beckart. The rest of them are youngsters. You've already met Swan. I don't think you've met the others. So Catalan Babaru is a Romanian 18-year-old under 21 international. Centre-back, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Alessandro Betturi is an 18-year-old Italian under 20 international winger, 1.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. And then Jovan Radovic is another goalkeeper, 18 years old, under 21 international for Serbia, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential. We did let Michael McLean go out on loan to Cardiff as well, and we're probably going to let him leave permanently when his contract's up in the summer. He wants like 50 grand a week to stay for a player who is still only a 2-star current ability goalkeeper. I know I probably ruined him myself by bringing him in, never loaning him out, wanting him to become homegrown, never playing him. it's a fate that Radovic is probably now going to face as well, because similarly I'm not going to loan him out because I want him to become homegrown. It works for some players, it doesn't work for others. I guess that's the determination stat and all that kind of stuff. But this is our squad, I think, that we're taking into the new season. We don't really have much in the way of money to do anything more, so unless we sell, we're not buying anymore, and I don't know who we'd sell. It would have to be someone forcing a move through, and I think we're hopefully beyond that at this point. So our squad is 2 goalkeepers, Beckart and Powell, with Radovic as a backup third option. Left backs, Candemil and Alif. Right back, Mayer, without really any other option, although Lee, Beron, Hervé, Goff can all play there if need to. Plus we've got some youngsters who can play there. Notably Joksimovic, who came in last summer. He's not in our first team squad yet, but realistically he'll probably be our backup right back for this season. Lee, Beron, Hervé and Juranovic as our centre-backs. Midfield, Zupancic, Cristiano, Bogarski, Sloma, and of course Ben Young. It's one of the many positions he can play in as well, so he'll get game time there as the season goes on. But we need big seasons from Bogarski and Sloma this year. We've given them both big contracts. In fact, Bogarski's isn't as big as Sloma's. £13,000 a week for Bogarski, but Sloma has been given an enormous contract, so needs to start repaying that. £48,500 a week for a player who's never played a game of football for us, despite having been here for 3 years. So we need big performances from Thomas Sloma. I've been given the number 8 shirt as well. I mean, there you go. He's going to be a star. Left wing, we've got Cirillo, Diarra as the backup, but obviously Mira, Zupancic, Thor can all play out there as well. Goff and Flager on the right wing, again with Thor, Cirillo, Young able to play there. Costa as our attacking central midfielder. Drame and Mendes, both very good youngsters, and there's other options you can play there too, but realistically it's always going to be one of those 3. And then up front, Mira, Thor, Young, and then we have got a couple of youngsters, but they're not getting past those 3 really, are they? Poor old Blish. We've sold Mercier for 40 million this summer. Blish is probably going to be the next one on the way, who at another club at a different time could have gone on to be a star, but I just don't see how he makes it into the starting 11 of this home team ever. So that's that sorted. Finance wise, I've made us worse off, because that's what Kev does. Oh my word, that's got much worse. I don't really know how. I don't pay too much attention to that, because it does seem to randomly swerve up and down. I don't see what we've done to add another £400 million worth of debt in 3 weeks when we've actually lowered the amount we're spending on wages. Because in actual fact, I say we've got no transfer budget left. We could do that and find it. We could probably bring in another youngster if we had to, but they'd have to be a very, very special youngster. And last time I checked, there wasn't anyone who met that criteria. So searching for players 18 and under on recommendation, the only ones who were above 80 were already signing. So yeah, I think our squad is done. Well, as is becoming tradition, we're playing the Charity Shield inside the transfer special as well, and we're going to get to have a look at some of one of the new signings, plus one of the youngsters making his debut for us as well, Sloma in midfield. So we're going with Beckart in goal, a back four of Candemil, Beron, Lee and Mayer, Zupancic and Sloma in midfield, Cirillo, Costa and Goff behind, Mira up front. There's a few players not yet ready to play. Cristiano recovering from an injury, Thor and Juranovic injured, Diarra not quite fully fit, Mendes misses out because he's the least fit of all of the other players, and Bogarski is currently down in the under-23s playing matches, and we'll join up with the first team squad again very, very soon. One other thing I do need to do is just for the new season update my set piece takers. You don't normally see this bit. This is a look behind the curtain. Quick Pick is my friend here as well. I'll just correct it if it needs correcting somewhere. But there's sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 seasons forgetting to do this, and there'll be players who don't even get in the team anymore on these lists, like Sumahoro on there. What on earth was he doing? It's a free kick taker. And the one thing I do like to do is make sure we don't have centre-backs taking throw-ins or right wingers taking throw-ins. There you go. That'll do. So that's our team for the Charity Shield. Let's get into it and hopefully start as we mean to go on by defeating Manchester United. These are the 2 biggest and best teams in English football these days, facing off against each other in the Charity Shield. and let's beat them. Let's go out and beat them. There you go. We owe them after what happened last time. But really, what happened last time is we won a League and Cup double and they won nothing at all. So who really owes who? Exactly. The bench is looking very youthful, not just because we've got a player called Young down there. I like the fact that we've got such a strong bunch of players coming through now. This transfer policy that we put into place 3, 4, 5 years ago is really starting to pay dividends, and hopefully we're going to see that again today with Slomer, who I want him to become a star. I'm putting a lot of hopes on Slomer. Obviously, we've pinned our hopes on him and Bogarski as a way to get our new goalkeeper, who needs to put in a performance day. And there you go, Slomer helping Beckart out once again. Slomer and Beckart, they're going to be the best of friends, because without Slomer, Beckart doesn't exist. Well, he exists, but he's still playing in Portugal when he could be hanging out with his old buddy Thor, who's not even fit enough to be on the bench today. I mean, we could have put him on the bench. He had a slight knock. He could have sat on the bench, but why do we need to when we've got Young and Blish both capable of sitting on the bench in his place? We've got a very strong squad now, and hopefully it will continue to get stronger. Nick Wilson. Curse of this save is Nick Wilson. My favourite England player, always scores against us, never plays as a striker for Manchester United, always played as a striker for England. If he'd have signed for Holme 7 years ago, he'd have been playing as a striker for us. I'd maintain if we'd have signed him then, there's an alternate universe where we signed Nick Wilson for £20 million from Middlesbrough, and he's now club record goal scorer. Because I'm just convinced that's where he would have ended up. Beron Beron actually is on the icons list. He might be the first player to become a club legend, which is weird because he's had a year on loan and a year here as a permanent player, but he's had huge average ratings in both of those years. And if he has another good season this time around, Beron could become a club legend. And I don't know, is he the first legend of the series? I don't know that he is, but clearly a lot of it works on average ratings, and there aren't many players who've got a career average like Beron's for Home. Right, assertively, we owe Manchester United. We don't want to lose to them. We don't want to lose the Charity Shield. The Charity Shield is everybody's favourite competition. Goff now plays it into Costa. Costa to Zupancic and back to Slomer. Slomer again. We want to see lots from Slomer today, making his club debut after three years after signing for us. Mayer can't quite get the crossover though. Slomer's looking apprehensive, and I can understand why. He's been dropped in at the deep end here. Lee now plays it forward, looking for the run of Cirillo from that left-hand side. He doesn't find him, but we are chasing down against the Manchester United goalkeeper here. But they're trying to break again, and this is one of those long highlights that inevitably ends in a goal. We all know how these work. Hopefully we're going to nick the ball back and it'll be our goal, but it's looking like it's going to be United who do go 2-0 up here. Goes just over. We've had a little bit of a let off there. We need 10 minutes of passion. We need to sort ourselves out. We're missing Yamin in midfield. Have I gone one step too far in focusing on youth in that central midfield? Should we have stuck with Powell, the best goalkeeper in the world, and kept Yamin around for another year? Only time will tell, I guess. Hopefully, both Slomer... I want Slomer and Bogarski this year to do what Hervé and Juranovic did last year and both do Mick Powell's. Because remember, this time last year, I was questioning whether we had enough defenders. We had Lee, Beron, and then a couple of youngsters. And now we've got 4 world-class defenders. So I'm hoping the same policy will serve us well in midfield this year. But it's a bit of a gamble to be taking again. And Man United have gone 2-0 up. And we probably need to be looking in terms of making some changes, although I'm not sure what changes we can make to get us back into this game. We certainly have been comfortably bettered by Manchester United today. Slomer picks it up in midfield again, plays it back to Beron. Beron all the way back to Beckart, who plays it to Lee. Slow build-up from the back here. It's with Slomer again. He's getting a lot of time on the ball. Seems quite defensive-minded with it at the moment, but I guess he is playing with a defensive instruction. John Goff has just got a Man United player sent off, though. The team he came through the youth setup of, and they're now down to 10 men for the last 25 minutes of this Charity Shield, and hopefully we can use that as our cue to go on and get back into this game. Costa has been awful today, so Drame can come on for him. Zupancic... Kandemil also not playing well. We could bring Ben Young on in midfield for Zupancic, but I'm actually tempted to bring him on for Cirillo, who's on a yellow card. We're going to do a triple change. Young can come on and play as an inside forward on that left-hand side. One of the many positions you'll see Ben Young play in over the next couple of years, our new super sub. And let's demand more and just try and find a goal from somewhere. Even 2-1 is more acceptable than a comfortable 2-0 defeat against 10 men. Goff plays it through to Mira. Mira scores. And it's 2-1 with 15 minutes to go, and we are well and truly back in the game now. United have gone very narrow, and obviously we have a lot of strength in our wide areas. So hopefully we can go on and exploit that. This is a lovely little through ball from Goff and Mira with the finish. And everyone is thoroughly delighted. And we've now got just over 10 minutes to try and grab an equaliser, but the ball's at the wrong end of the pitch here, and Beckart, luckily, hasn't been embarrassed on his debut there. Big throw out towards Aleph, who's pushed forward on this left-hand side, and he's now charging on, finds Young. I think this is Young's debut. I think he sat on the bench for the FA Cup final, but didn't actually come on. And Sloma to Zupancic. We've got a different look to our midfield with Young, Drame and Sloma all in there today. Aleph now with the cross, looking for Goff, who collects it at the far post, beats his man, whips it back in again, and Zupancic has got the equaliser, and that's 2 goals inside 2 minutes for Holme, and with 10 minutes to go, I mean, the momentum's with us, isn't it? We could still have a community shield or charity shield or some shield. I don't know what type of shield it is. It keeps changing its name. But we've got the opportunity. Oh, we can make more substitutions. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I forgot we were able to make more than 3 substitutions in this game. Who else can we bring on? The momentum is all with us. It seems a bit risky to make any changes at all. But it's also a glorified pre-season friendly. We need to keep people fit. Beron is getting tired, so Hervé can come on for him. Blish and Flager, I mean, do we really want to bring either of them on when Goff and Mira have both played so well? I guess we could bring on Flager for Mayer, push Goff back, add another wide threat, and then Blish isn't going to get to come on unless Mira picks up an injury, which hopefully he doesn't. Come on, let's demand more. Let's try and grab a win really late on here. It's going to go to penalties, I think. And I think we probably took the momentum away by making those extra couple of changes that we probably didn't need to make. Pulling Goff out of the attack, probably not the smartest move I've ever had. But there you go. We go to a penalty shootout. And this is a big test for Beckart. Let's see if he's worth £56 million. He's got the chance to instantly make himself a hero here on his debut. Nothing to lose in a penalty shootout. If he makes a couple of saves, everyone says it's money well spent. Goff now. Goff has missed his penalty. That's unexpected. Nick Wilson now stepping up for Manchester United. Wilson against Beckart. And it's 2-0 to United. And now we have Sloma. Huge pressure on Sloma on his debut here. The young 21-year-old. Can he score his penalty? He cannot. Oh dear. It's all going wrong. If Man United score here, we have a lot to do. Beckart needs to pull out a save, and you could argue he probably should have saved that one. And now if we miss this one, it's been a bit of a whitewash penalty shootout, which would be troublesome. You don't expect the pressure to be on Mira here, penalty taker number 3, but a miss and we're done after only 6 penalties. Oh my word, that is the worst penalty shootout I've ever seen. We missed all 3 of ours, they scored all 3 of theirs, and they've won the Community Shield. Who really cares though? There you go. I'm far from pleased with what I've just seen. Hopefully we'll take that fury through to the first game of the new season, which will be in tomorrow's video. But we will just dash forward to transfer deadline day just in case anything else happens. And the transfer window did pass completely uneventfully. So that is the end point of our transfer window. A couple more youngsters went out on loans, but other than that, no other major business. So we have a new season starting tomorrow. Hopefully a season that ends with us winning the Champions League. And no interruptions for England too, which I can't guarantee 7 days a week episodes for the next couple of weeks without England there as a buffer, but I will get as close to it as I can. And once the kids are back at school, we'll be back to definite 7 days a week until FM20, unless we end the series, which we're not going to do, I don't think. No promises, but we probably won't. But anyway, if you have enjoyed that transfer special, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily-ish Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.